The key to keep in mind is that Bitcoin is not competing with the dollar. It's competing with international real estate, global equities, expensive money managers on Wall Street, and any long-range investment that somebody makes. And so right now we're about $2 trillion in Bitcoin. It's going to 20 trillion, then it's going to 200 trillion, then it's growing 20% a year. And that capital is coming from overseas. It's coming from China, from Russia, from Europe, from Africa, from Asia, from the 20th century to the 21st century. So what's compelling about it is if the United States takes a position in the emerging crypto economy, if it buys up 10, 20% of the Bitcoin network, we're going to pay off the national debt. And so why wouldn't that be in the interest of the United States?
That was a paper loss, even momentarily, for the government.
I don't think anybody's ever lost money in the Bitcoin network holding 4 years. The United States' best investments are Alaska, Mexico, California, and Louisiana, and Manhattan. We're still holding them hundreds of years later. It's a nation state. So presumably, you want to buy Bitcoin, you want to hold it for 100 years. You know where the future's going. The AIs, the foreigners, the Europeans, the 20th century capitalists, they're all going to cyberspace. And so the United States has the ability to buy this for a nickel.
What did you attribute the move down below 80 to? Just that it's Bitcoin? What do you want?
Yes. I would say what's interesting is Bitcoin's not had negative headlines in February, but it was down. But I know our technician, Mark Newton, had talked about this being a cyclical downturn in Bitcoin through the end of March. So he was talking mid-January, getting down to 62. The weekend...
105 to 62. That's just Bitcoin.
Yeah, it's a typical...
Do the math, though. It's like, yeah, in a month, 105 to 62.
Yeah, that's a test of the result.
That hurts people that buy at 105.
Yeah, but as you know, Bitcoin makes all of its gains in 10 days. So if people sort of try to time this, they're going to miss out on a chance for Bitcoin to go back to its highs.
And by the end, at some point in this year, you think it gets, because last year you thought it might get to 150 or even higher, right?
Yeah. I think it's going to do better than 150 this year.
You do?
Yeah.
U.S. dollar?
Yes.
What? 150?
Hungarian forint?
Yeah,
I mean, like,
I don't know. Something that's a lot less than $150,000. It's a lot better than higher than 150.
That's right, because it's becoming more widely held.
Yeah.
If Citadel starts trading it, it starts to have more broad acceptance.
Okay.
President Trump announcing the creation of a strategic crypto reserve. Mackenzie Sigalis joins us now with all the details. Mackenzie, it's interesting because in this Truth Social post over the weekend, he cited his January executive order, and that seemed to ignite the rally.
No, it did, and this is really building upon what he said in January. He says that this new national crypto reserve will include Bitcoin, Ethereum, and a trio of high volatility tokens, Solana, XRP, and Cardano. He's moved to elevate the industry after what the president described as years of corrupt attacks under the Biden administration. Now, unlike traditional reserves of gold, petroleum, or grain, commodities accumulated for strategic security, this reserve would more closely resemble an active portfolio of speculative assets. The shift in language from stockpile to reserve also suggests the U.S. may actively acquire and manage cryptocurrencies rather than just holding seized tokens. Now, the crypto market, coming off its worst month since 2022, reacted instantly. Bitcoin and Ethereum surged over 10%, while Cardano spiked as much as 70%. Now, prices are coming back down, but still, we're seeing investors getting back into long positions. And attention now really turns to Friday's first ever White House Crypto Summit, where the president, along with his crypto czar, David Sachs, regulators, and industry leaders will talk next steps. We'll be watching to see whether the president shares a buying strategy or plans to push this through without congressional approval. Melissa?
Interesting that the notion of an active portfolio, Mackenzie, because then, of course, somebody needs to be hired to manage this. So you've got a portfolio manager for crypto under the authority of the U.S. government.
And that's one of the biggest concerns here, that the government would be picking favorites. And yes, the choice of Cardano and Solana came as a bit of a surprise. But at the end of the day, these 5 tokens that are in this reserve are on the top 10 market cap list. And Cardano and Solana offer faster and cheaper alternatives than Bitcoin and Ethereum with respect to facilitating payments. The president also has a connection to both of those blockchains. Solana is the blockchain that he used to build his meme token. Meanwhile, you've got XRP. Ripple is the team behind that token. They donated $5 million in the XRP token to Trump's inaugural fund. So he has ties to some of these tokens that we're seeing show up here.
Mr. Speaker, let's make corruption criminal again. 3 days before his inauguration, President-elect Trump launched the Trump meme coin. Trump's partners and some investors based in China pumped up the price, making hundreds of millions of dollars with early selling while the price was high. As they sold, though, the price plummeted. They duped more than 800,000 Americans who collectively lost $2 billion. Welcome to what experts refer to as a rug pull.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And you know I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And make sure you're joining the Patrons. If you're not a part of the Patrons, make sure you're hitting the Cash App. And also, guys, make sure you go like and follow the TikTok. More videos to come. And we had the market sell-off. Bitcoin, crypto, and stocks. Now, we had Michael Saylor says that Bitcoin is not competing with the dollar. And guys, we know these stable coins are nothing but digital dollars, but with smart contracts, they're now programmable. Being able to tell you what, when, and how to buy, and you have 3 to 6 months to spend them or poof, is gone. And that's the reason why they're the foundation of this new economy. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. And Michael Saylor stated if you hold Bitcoin for 4 years, no one's never lost. But remember, guys, it's the Feds for your cycles. That's when they've been pumping all this money. Never forget, they printed 80% of all money in existence within 2 years. And that's the reason why we got all this inflation. And then, of course, they raised rates the fastest in history to fight the inflation that they caused. You cannot make this stuff up. And we have Bitcoin, cryptos, and stocks pumping and dumping. Because we know the Fed is shrinking liquidity, and we see the long end of yield rates dropping for no reason. It's like they're trying to price in a 50 basis point cut. And we have Tom Lee says that Bitcoin could end the year over 150,000. But remember, guys, we take all the guesswork away when we follow the Fed. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. And Trump announcement on Sunday definitely pumped and dumped the market. But don't forget, guys, in crypto, we're going to start moving up anyway. And as long as these yield rates get to dropping like they're doing now, we know stocks also will start to move up. But we had the Trump family make billions in crypto already, and they're getting ready for this fourth industrial revolution. Don't forget, Trump has 4 years to land us. And we have David Sachs under pressure for the crypto reserve and not just being Bitcoin. And like I stated, that was the worst thing that Trump could have done was to send out that social media message on Sunday, because it took away the Bitcoin narrative, and it's going to bite at the end. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you, don't forget, these are men still. They still make mistakes. But that narrative that Bitcoin is digital gold is definitely out the window. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. Now, China is fighting deflation while the rest of the world is fighting inflation. And since Trump has been in office, the BRICS have been working behind the scene. We know they're getting off the dollar. We know China and Belt and Road is about to take over the global economy. And Trump has to get rid of this debt, devalue the dollar, just so the United States can maintain. The dollar's not going anywhere. It's just going to lose a lot of its value. And that's the reason why we getting these Trump tariffs. We have another 10% on China, which is a total of 20%. We have 25% that's supposed to go into effect tomorrow on Canada and Mexico. So with these tariffs coming in, we have the job market is going to start to weaken. We know the Fed is going to start lowering rates. And of course, that's going to bring more liquidity into the market. All we have to do is make sure we keep an eye on the BRICS, the BOJ, and any geopolitical events. And then we have Taiwan to invest $165 billion in the U.S., and then it's going to be in Arizona. And those numbers make no sense whatsoever. I think the whole GDP for Taiwan just a little over $1 trillion. But we know eventually China is going to make a claim for Taiwan. And like Ray Dalio always says, that the two superpowers, China and the U.S., are eventually going to collide. So you're witnessing the fall of America to Babylon and the rise of China the Dragon with that digital yuan backed by that digital SDR. And remember, the crypto teacher told you, because he knows when it comes to the NWO, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
Lonsdale critiqued the use of taxpayer money for a U.S. crypto reserve. He wrote that pushing for more efficient defense, courts, and prisons, that's a noble task, but a crypto scheme, as he called it, was overreach. And that put Sachs on the defense, telling Lonsdale to wait to find out what's actually being proposed and announcing that he sold all of his cryptocurrency prior to the start of the new administration. Then there was Brian Armstrong, CEO of Coinbase. He indirectly questioned the rationale behind diversifying the reserve, adding more coins, suggesting that a Bitcoin-only option would be the best option. Now, these emerging rifts, they underscore deeper ideological battle within Silicon Valley's pro-Trump faction. If it was largely united over Doge, the mission to streamline operations and reduce waste, but the idea of a federally backed crypto reserve, that may feel like a distortion of free markets to some of them, especially the libertarian faction. It could also disproportionately benefit some VC firms over others. David Sachs' venture firm Kraft still holds investments in crypto startups like Bitwise. And then there's Andreessen Horowitz with investments in Cardano and Solana included in that reserve, at least in the announcement. During the campaign, of course, Andreessen Horowitz was one of the earliest and highest profile supporters of Trump, donating to Trump-aligned PACs. This Friday, guys, the White House will hold its crypto summit. We could see these tensions boil over further, or we could see them blow over. And I thought a really important data point from your interview a few moments ago with Michael Saylor, he is about as Bitcoin maximalist as it gets. And he said that it was just good that the country is getting enlightened about crypto. So it kind of sounded like he's getting on board, even though he'd probably rather see a Bitcoin-only reserve.
This year's National People's Congress will be tasked with some heavy lifting to counter deflationary pressures at home.
Congratulations.
Compounded by political uncertainties from abroad.
We think 2024 was the year of understanding the beginning of reflation in China, but it's going to be a long, long battle.
Scott, President Trump has just signed an executive order that will put in place an additional 10% tariff on China that is set to take effect just after midnight tonight, bringing the total tariff rate on China that he has imposed so far in his term to 20%. Now, that has officially been signed as an executive order. An administration official was just giving me the details on that. And I did ask specifically, Scott, whether he had also signed anything on Canada or Mexico, and he has not done that yet. So even though the president just told me just earlier this hour that there is no room left for Canada and Mexico to make a deal, he has not yet signed the executive order putting that action into place, but he has now put that signature on the China executive order. That's set to take effect tonight, just after midnight, while we still wait and see what's going to happen next with Canada and Mexico. Scott.
Tomorrow, tariffs 25% on Canada and 25% on Mexico, and that'll start. So they're going to have a tariff. So what they have to do is build their car plants, frankly, and other things in the United States. As Coward and David, you can say a couple of words, but maybe you should go first, because right now he's the most important man in the room. I'm sorry, fellas. Please. Thank you very much. Thank you. Great honor. Thank you.
I'm a little bit nervous, so I have to pull out my piece of paper. Mr. President, Secretary Larnick, and David, I didn't know that your title. But, okay. First, I want to say thank you to Mr. President to give me this opportunity to announce our big project in the U.S. TSMC is the world's largest chip manufacturing, funded by Dr. Morris Chen in 1987. It's now at the forefront of semiconductor technology, supporting AI advancement and industry growth. In fact, I would like to wind back the time that in 2020, we have to thank President Trump's vision and his support. So TSMC start the journey of establishing the advanced chip manufacturing in Arizona. And now, let me proudly say, now the vision become reality. In Phoenix, Arizona, with 3,000 employees, we are producing the most advanced chip made on U.S. soil. With the success of our first fab, so we are now very happy to announce we are going to invest additional $100 billion US in addition to our current $65 billion US investment in Arizona. We are going to build 3 more new fabs after we promised the 3 fabs already, and another 2 very advanced packaging fab, and most important, R&D center also in Arizona.
Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
But every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every private business, every piece of real estate will eventually be a token on a blockchain, an entry on a ledger, permanent and immutable. We will have truth instead of trust, and we will save over $7 trillion a year. 6 to 8% of global GDP is wasted by the friction of the trust industry that's necessary when you have dual entry accounting. With triple entry accounting, which is what a blockchain is, we get rid of all of that friction. It's a beautiful future.
Like what you see in China and their social credit scoring systems, right? If we get identity wrong, it could be a tool to enslave humanity. And if we get it right, it could be a tool to liberate humanity. And as an American, I'm obviously rooting for the one that's on the side of freedom.
Bitcoin is an international asset. And also, I do believe the role of crypto is it's digitizing gold.
I actually believe this technology is going to be very important. Look at it. We have been part of a huge revolution in investing through ETFs. We believe that ETFs will be changing the whole way we invest. Many people still use it as a means, people are investing it for indexing. No, the majority of people who are putting money in in ETFs are active investors that are buying exposure. The entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now. I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. And if we could have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem.
Chinese bank ICBC has been hit by a ransomware attack, and the U.S. Treasury market, as a result of that, has been disrupted. This, according to the Financial Times. We're getting at more right now with Bloomberg's Shonali Bassick. Shonali, what do we know?
Listen, we have the Financial Times now reporting that ICBC, one of China's largest banks here, was hit with a ransomware attack. And remember, they're a very significant intermediary in the Treasury market. The SIFMA has told told his members that this has been part of the reason here that the system is kind of clogged up, if you will. During that auction that we saw a little bit before, the attack had prevented ICBC, according to the Financial Times, from settling treasury trades on behalf of other market participants. A large executive at a major bank also telling the paper that such a large party on the fixed income clearing corp creates major concerns, potentially impacting the liquidity of treasury markets.
Now, it was not just a poor auction. It was absolutely lousy. And you know, when the dealers have to step in to save a treasury auction, that's a rare occurrence. And
Cryptoteacher and the new World Order book, plus the 3 kids books, is time to re-educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get on stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing they were still getting that free money, what are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. You know I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate. Not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Drama Team save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Drama Team save New York from COVID-33. Part 3. King Joshua and Drama Team goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.